Hello, my twos. It's me, Miss Maya. Good morning. For our activity today, friends, we have a really fun science project to do. But before we do our science project or our science activity, first let's get ready by singing our hello song and welcoming each other to our activity. Here we go. Hello, 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 and how are you? I'm fine, I'm fine, and I hope that you are too. Wave your hands to the friend right next to you. Wave your hands, wave your hands, and say, how do you do? How do you do? Very good, friends. Very good. Good morning, my friends. So, before we begin our activity, we're first going to play some quiet music just to get our brains flowing. Do you hear the sounds, friends? It's similar to the music that we listen to when we do activities in class. All right, so for our science activity today, friends, we are going to practice learning about what sinks and what floats. And we're going to use a jar, some water, and some different things that I have around my home to practice learning about sinking and floating. You can use different toys and items that you have at your home, but today, for our activity on the video, I'm going to use some things in my home. So first, friends, to get our sinking and floating experiment ready, we have to fill our jar with some water. So let's fill up our jar with some water. Very good. Now that our jar is full of water, we're going to find out what sinks and what floats. Friends, if something sinks, does it go in the water or does it stay on top? It goes in, below the water. If it floats, does it stay on top of the water or does it go below the water? It stays on top. So let's find out what sinks and what floats. Are you ready? Very good. All right. The first item, rubber duck. Do you think the rubber duck is going to sink, go under the water, or float, stay on top of the water? Let's see. Friends, it floats. The rubber ducky is on top of the water. It floats. Friends, is our rubber ducky light or heavy? It's light. Let's try another item. What do I have? A rock. Do you think our rock is going to be light and float? Or do you think it will be heavy and sink? Let's find out. Friends, do you see? Our rock went to the bottom. Is it floating or sinking? Very good, it's sinking. Friends, is our rubber ducky floating or sinking? Floating. It's on top of the water. And is our rock floating or sinking? Sinking. It's underneath the water. Friends, I have some pennies. Do you think our pennies are going to float or do you think they're going to sink? I think they're going to sink. Let's find out. One, oh, three. And let me hold it close so you can see. Here we go, friends. I'm going to drop our penny in. Friends, it went to the bottom. Did our pennies sink or did they float? They sank. They went to the bottom. All right, my friends. I have a magnet letter. Do you think our magnet letter is heavy or light? I think it's light. So if it's light, do you think it's going to float like our rubber ducky? Or do you think it's going to sink like our rock and our pennies? Well, let's find out. Here we go, friends. Watch closely. Let's see what happens to our letter V. Let's see if it floats or sinks. Oh, friends, it's resting on top of the water. Is it going under? No. So is it floating or sinking? Very good, it's floating. And all right, my friends, last item. I have a yellow Lego. Do you think it's heavy or light? I think it's light. So if it's light, do you think it's going to float like our rubber ducky? Or do you think it's going to sink like our rock and our pennies? I think it's going to float. Let's find out. Watch closely, friends. Here we go. Oh, friends, interesting. It looks like is it floating or sinking? It's kind of doing both. It's on top of the water and a little bit below the water, but I think it's floating. Oh, turn over. I think it's floating. Very good, friends. So, during our activity today, we learned the difference between floating and sinking. If something floats, friends, it rests on top of the water. It is lighter than the water. If something sinks, that means it's very heavy and it goes below the water. If it's sinking, it's heavy and it goes below. If it's floating, it's light and it stays above the water. Friends, if you would like to play and experiment with sinking and floating at home, you can fill your bathtub with water with mommy or daddy, and you can drop in different toys and see if they stay on top of the water and float, or see if they go beneath the water and sink. I would love to hear more about what toys float and what toys sink in our next circle time. All right, friends, have fun experimenting with your toys at home, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Have a good day.